I am the founder and designer of Pattterned Studio. I'll quickly brief you about my work as well as the background of my studies. And then eventually during the slides, if you have any questions, you can share it with me, or you can ask me the questions in the end of the presentation as it suits you all. Okay. So Pattterned Studio is a young and innovative design studio wherein we design and develop ceramic and glass products, handmade products, which can be customized, which can also be, mass produced as well. So from a single piece to a series of mass produced pieces, we develop all these pieces with hand. So the video on the left hand side you can actually see how it's been developed on the wheel. So maybe a bowl to any sculpture which can be developed with hand, we do it all with hands. So in Pattterned Studio, we have three pillars, which is Tattva, Tap, and Tapasya. Tattva is the element or mitti or kanch. Tap is the heat we provide to both these materials. And Tapasya is the consistency, what we have to give, if at all it's a single piece or many pieces, say thousands or 2,000 pieces, we have to give every piece the similar kind of attention. So that's what Tattva, Tap, and Tapasya are. These are the three pillars of Pattterned Studio. The kind of products we develop are from glassware to table accessories to tableware for crockery for restaurants, from flat pack furniture with cardboard to glass blown lights. Everything we develop over here at Pattterned Studio. I started Pattterned Studio in 2017, which is around 5 years from now. And the core materials we have are the three ceramic materials, which are terracotta, stoneware, and porcelain, and glass, brass, as well as corrugated sheet. My main clients are chefs for their restaurants, architects, lighting design studio, corporate houses, food blogger, artists, and other companies. I did my graduation in sculptures. Before that, I did during my 12th, I took science, which is bio and math. So all the fields like medical to engineering, every field was open for me to take. But then I switched my field from science to sculptures, which was majorly material related, which from making sculptures with clay or carving wood or stone. We had to explore all these different materials and different techniques as well. So during 4 years of my BFA, my bachelor's, we had many materials which we explored. And eventually, right after my graduation, I got the opportunity to teach at Architecture College. And while teaching at Architecture College, pottery, I happened to apply for National Institute of Design. So yet again, another shift from a bachelor degree in sculptures, which is art related, to design, industrial design altogether. So over here, I am quickly going to go to the next slide. Okay, so what is design? If at all we talk about design, design is a discipline of study and practice focused on the interaction between user as well as the product or the environment the designer has been developing for the user. So it's a very core or intensive study what a designer do to develop any and everything. So over here, I have some examples which are designs which went wrong or which were intentionally developed incorrectly, so that you core from attaching a handle, how the handle of a mug should be, or what material of the umbrella should be. So all these, every little bit from a screw to a robotic design, what Satish will be talking about, we have to be aware, as well as we have to understand every detail, why we are incorporating and what we are incorporating in a design. It can be a system, it can be a product, it can be a place or a space. So design has been involved in any and every bit of the corners we are living in, from an automobile design to metros, to lights, to mobiles we are using, the apps we are using on the mobile. Every bit is being designed by humans. And while we are designing it, we are also evolving. So there is a shift from the mobiles which we used to get before and now. So even every year, there are a lot of evolve and evolution which are which are happening in every design what we are going through. Okay, so design has to be fundamental, it has to be functional, it has to be very thoughtful, it has to be definitely a solution. So if at all, for example, the mobile we were using previously had some loopholes in it, then the new version will have a solution of that loophole, right? So every design or the evolution will have a solution to the previous design. All right. So it can be an innovation, it can be an improved version of the existing design. Definitely, it will be a user-centric solution. Okay. It will have a lot of emotion, but definitely logic will also be there. So the aesthetic bit will come little later, but the functionality will be the priority while designing or coming up with any plan or concept. Okay. So at Pattern Studio, we believe that design is always in an evolving process. So it from picking up a raw material to fixing up a, mixing the proportions or shaping them up to putting it in the right scenario or not. So I can't put a chandelier in the bathroom, right? In a function with a functionality, it has to go in a living room or a larger space, right? So all those things plus branding of these products is what we deal with, or the quality check has to be done. Packaging design needs to be very good. So in my case, ceramic and glass both is very fragile medium. So I will have to take care of the packaging very nicely. At the same time, marketing. So it doesn't. So though I have done ceramic and glass as my main core material for masters, but I am dealing with the quality, branding, packaging, marketing, understanding the material. The material science is also involved, the process with hands, production, everything. So any and every design firm will take care of all these materials. What kind of skills are required to do well in this field? Um, so design thinking is one of the core things. Other than sketching, drawing, or conceptualizing and all, we have to have a very core design thinking. So what is design thinking? Design thinking is basically, it's basically first step would be empathizing. So empathize with your user, try and be in their shoes, try and understand. You can't have a very big water bottle to in your bags. You have to have a smaller one. So from ergonomics to how they are holding the product, to how they'll be cleaning it if at all it's aware, and everything needs to be understood, where we are going to stock it, stack it in the house or in the office, or in any scenario. So you have to understand where the product will be, how and how many people or the stakeholders will be using it or holding it, from shipping it out from the from the warehouse to going through different shipping company, and reaching out to the place. We have to understand and visualize, write down every bit of it, how the user is going to unpack it, to how the first experience should be of unpacking or unfolding the box. So everything we have to understand. So empathize, may a lot of emotions are involved, but emotions at the end of users. But while studying the emotions, while studying the entire exercise or the process, how the user will be using it, or if at all, say how a person, after, what is the afterlife of that product? Is it going to add to the landfill? So we follow sustainable design practice. So we are very conscious about the material we use. We are very conscious about the packaging material we use, or every bit of that as well. So the process is also very sustainable. So we are um, following that path. But not every design practice, if at all it's concrete related design studio, they will not think about sustainability that much. Okay. Or plastic related company will not understand or not follow sustainability that much. Okay, so empathize is first thing. Empathize towards the user, towards the environment. Then define what you're going to design is the second step. So all these processes, I have a lot of books I can suggest you. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box, as well as I'll be sharing my email ID in the end. You can have your notes or questions or queries. You can write it to me as well. So defining the brief, what you're going to develop. So for example, I'm developing a vase. Then what shape should it be, or how much water, how many flowers, all those things, which corner of the house will it go? All these things we have to pre-define it. Then how we'll start ideating it. So brainstorming which color it should be. Agar 2022 it is, then what are the color schemes or color palettes which are trending right now? So from that to which design houses are selling. So we have to understand the market, we have to understand the color palette, we have to understand how big the piece should be. Everything we do in ideating, brainstorming level. Then we start developing the prototype. Sorry. We start developing the prototype, we do the product testing, we give these products to a lot of potential clients or customers, and then we ask their reviews and inputs, how we can refine the product, how we can make it better. And then the assessment part happens, and then we start production. So this is like an elaborate process which comes under design thinking. It is the design process which every design firm uh, it follows, whether it's an innovative product or it's a redefined product from the existing evolution of any other existing product. Okay, so I'll just information about the latest trends and development. So until now I've been speaking about the design process of the material, or how we are picking any of these topics. So about the latest trends, from a television, what we use, to the light which we put, the bulbs, the curtains, the fabric for the couch, the shelves or the furniture we put, the planters, the tables, every bit is being very well thought before being designed. So a lot of us, while designing, we also question ourselves: is this really required? Or if at all it's an innovative product, then we think that why it was not being launched until now. What was the loophole? What was the setback? Why it was not being launched? Is it not required by the market or the user, or is it uh, not being thought by any of the design firms? So we have to actually think before. We can't keep launching any and every thought which comes to our mind. We have to be very realistic as well as very wise in even launching anything, because again, going back to the environment, we don't want to harm the environment unnecessary as well. So we study every environment, if it's a luxury house or if it's a restaurant, if we are designing for a space, then we try and understand the color schemes, the other products or the furniture or every bit which is going in there. It should always be relatable, it should always sink in. Sorry. So all these things we go ahead with. So every bit of the life we are living, the lifestyle we are living, every bit is being developed or thoughtfully developed by any and every designer. Let it be architecture, interior design, computers, robotics, every bit. So quickly coming up to the job opportunities or the scope of growth over here. So there are many design disciplines which we have in India as well as abroad. So for example, communication design. So it will be every bit of communication to the user in terms of videos, 2D photography, graphic design, animation, and all these design disciplines also uh, have subtopics. So graphic design can have UI UX design. It can have poster designs. It can have banners on the roads you must be seeing. It will have all the logo designs, from designing a logo for the metro to a brand to packaging of say shampoo bottle. Everything comes under communication, because here you are trying to communicate what should go on. For example, a book, then you need to understand that how a book should be there, or how what all details you need to go over here or over here, from a barcode to where it's been printed. So all these details usually are being designed from or by communication design. Okay. Industrial design is all about material and processes. So from transportation and automobile design, from designing entire model in clay, then casting it and making it in the material the cars are being made, or ceramic and glass, you already know about it. Then product design will have all the mix, the electronics what we have in the kitchen or in the offices. Furniture design and interior design, we know about which wood should go where. It should be very complementary with the culture or with the weather it's going to be put up at. So that comes under furniture and interior design. Then we have toy and game design, wherein all the board games to all the brain games, which it is not digital but which is very tangible. All these games are being designed. And then there are exhibition design, retail design. So exhibition design can also so there are a lot of overlaps as well which happens. So exhibition design will can also have the showrooms we go to, how the showroom should be very attractive. At the same time, it should be the user should feel like entering that particular shop or store. So it's been designed, the layout, to how the say if it's a clothing store, then you should know where and how the eye movement will go through. So here we talk about how the eye movement of, or how I am entering the store, then how the layout should be of the store, etc. Then strategic and management. So strategic design management, it talks about what should be the strategy of the brand or any organization for that matter, and how they should develop or grow eventually, and what should be the hierarchy or what should be the series of growth. If at all it's an NGO, then where we should start approaching. So if it's my brand, for I'll give you my example. Before lockdown, I was just working with B2C, which is sorry, B2B, business to business, on a very large scale. But during lockdown, everything got affected, and during lockdown, all my bigger projects were either shut or were postponed for obvious reasons. So I had to start re-strategizing my entire plan, the business model altogether, to survive in the post. So I had to understand that what will be the post-lockdown scenario, or how the market will reopen, and what will be the requirements for any customer or any design house. So accordingly, I had to re-strategize in the middle of lockdown. So we have to constantly study and be very aware of what's the current trends are, what are the current market requirement, or who are our competitors, and what are they providing, and what should be. So we usually, before launching even a collection, we we start working on it 6 months before, or maybe sometimes 1 year before. So if at all it's a Diwali season for a home decor store, I will start working from April itself. So we have to understand the entire seasonal aspects or cultural aspects and every bit. So strategic design management will have all these plannings. For every design house, it will be different. or design company, it will be different. Then packaging design, how a shampoo bottle is being designed, or the cardboard box on it. From games we see in the shops, or from every bit, from a chai cart, the packaging to every bit is being, which is covered. So if at all the product inside is very fragile, the packaging design will be such that it protects the product, as well as it will have all the labeling and the branding on it. Or if it's just a small piece which is not breakable, then you don't have to worry about the padding inside, or making it very strong. It can just be packed in a Amazon packet as well. So all these things, so very thoughtfully we have to go about every bit of detailing, from how the box should be folded inside, how the unfolding or unboxing of an emotion while unboxing any of the users will have. Then integrated design will have digital game design. So all Xbox's designs to all the computer games come under this design discipline. Then interaction design will have all the possibilities of online interaction. It will have digital apps. To new media will have all the robotics aspect. Then lifestyle and accessory design will have textile design, from all the fashion brands, from understanding the fabric to making your own fabric, to the understanding the thread, which is from where it's coming from. Is it like a silk from a silkworm, or a sericulture, or every bit you have to understand. If it's developed, the textile or the fabric is being developed for mountain region, then it should be a very woolly and very warm piece. Whereas if you're designing something for a beach wear, then it should be accordingly. So every bit of textile design is being developed accordingly. Then apparel will have all your bags, leather bags, and other aspect what we use as apparels. Then lifestyle and accessory design will have or every aspect or product which goes under this discipline, right? So these are different disciplines altogether, which have dedicated masters available in India as well as abroad. So all these opportunities. So design is a very big, huge umbrella wherein we can always think about, after foundation, after understanding every bit, we can think about which discipline we want to have our core foundation in, and accordingly you can select. Okay. So so job opportunities are really good, from starting your own startup to working under any design field or design firm, as a designer, as a quality check. So personal experience would be during my masters. I did my job as well, wherein I was working into a lighting design house. We used to design glass chandeliers of double floor height, and smaller pieces, as well as these used chandeliers. So wherein I was the designer, I was the quality check in charge, if the glass pieces are being blown nicely or not, or if there are any cracks or scratches, if the glass is fitting well in the metal armature which is there on the chandelier, or packaging is being done fine or not. So I was the packaging in charge, I was the quality check in charge, I was the prototype in charge, where the metal, I was dealing with the metal vendor as well. So we were trying to understand all those facts as well. So design is a huge thing, and it will never be just one particular discipline. It will always have multiple overlapping disciplines altogether. So we work with a graphic designer for our branding. We work with a film and video designer to make our videos. We work with a strategy designer to re-strategize here and there. We work with the packaging designer. So all these fields will always keep overlapping. Okay. So yeah. So you have any questions, you can ask me, or you can write down your questions or queries at astha.malu@pattern.com. I see there are no questions. So So Pawan, Himanshi, Hima, Sanvi, Sarita, Divya, if you have any queries, you can ask me.